I go every year for my annual exams faithfully. And usually it's go home, Amy, we'll see you again next year. Well, this year, my provider did not like the way that my cervix looked and quickly did some biopsies and then called me about 2 weeks later and said, "You have cervical cancer." I mentioned that I live in the U.S. Virgin Islands, and within just a couple of short days, I was back on a plane to come stateside to see if it had spread. I immediately went to research. That's who I am. St. Francis was the one who kind of rose to the top for having leaps and bounds on the technology and the staff. This was not just a local facility. I was going to have the opportunity to work with a world-class facility. That's an entirely different level. But what sealed the deal is when I was able to come in and actually meet with the providers. See this?
Yeah.
I want you to look at this, because this is the smile and the face that greeted me every time. We had a real good rapport, and he was great at answering questions, but this is the person that always showed up. And then Dr. Shao was the one who introduced me to brachytherapy. I was also intrigued by the ability to concentrate the treatment right where the cancer is to help save some of my other organs from the external radiation.
The way that most people are used to hearing about radiation is delivery through external approaches. However, when radiation comes in externally, there's only so much dose you can get in. At the same time, there's a lot of additional normal tissue structures that are close by to what you're trying to treat. What brachytherapy allows is placing the radiation source right next to the tumor, allowing you to get more dose into the tumor itself while minimizing dose to the normal structures that are around there.
I was looking for the best long-term outcome for me with the minimal amount of trauma because I want to live a long time. I sought opinions that were outside of St. Francis with my medical records and what the treatment plan was. And I had others that said, this is absolutely the gold standard. This is a fabulous treatment plan. And again, that was just a reassurance that I had chosen the right facility and the right team for my situation.
Her will was strong in the sense that she knew that she could beat this, and she would not let this define her life.
Yeah, I ask a lot of questions, but they were always answered, and he was very good even showing me sometimes on the system where we talked about scans and placements, and there were a lot of other things, and I felt the patience that he had with me. I only had fear a little bit, and he resolved that real quick. Yeah. And took care of it, so that was just worth its weight in gold. It made that part of the process so much easier, it really did.
Thanks for saying that.
It's true. Well, I don't know if you noticed, but before we came in to film this morning, Teresa and some of the other staff walked out and said, "Oh, well, hello, Amy." They know you by name. You were not just a chart number. The support was always there. There was always a willingness to answer questions. Anything we can do to make you more comfortable, or how can we support you through this journey and make it even easier? Everyone that I worked with here was absolutely fabulous. When you think of the term excellence, that's what I associate with this facility and the experience I had. I cannot imagine any facility could have provided better care and compassion than what I got here. I am Amy Rose Herrick, and I am a cervical cancer survivor.